Hello, welcome to the weather update. It is 9 p.m. on November 14th, 2018, and we are looking at yet another storm heading this way. Today we dealt with a lot of high clouds, so it wasn't really clear. There was some, breaks of sun, breaks of blue sky, about a lot of high clouds around today. Not a clear day at all, unfortunately, because the front never really made it far enough south for us to get into the clear sky. However, it was very cold today. I struggled to reach 40, as I expected. So before we get to the storm, I want to just go over the rainfall from the last storm we had. I'm not going to go over every single number, but anywhere between 1 and 2 inches fell from that storm on Long Island, Nassau County. The highest reading in Nassau was in Farmingdale at 1.5 inches, 1.50 inches. Closest to Mineola was Carl Place at 1.35 inches. And Suffolk County got more with that system, so out east in East Hampton Airport 1.84 and Montauk Airport 1.82 inches of rain. West Hampton around 1.5 inches. So let's take a look at this storm here. Here it is on the radar here for you. And you can see here it is. So here is, you can see the storm, the rain and snow on the north side of it, and this thing is moving toward us. It is moving our way. And if you look at this, you'll see we actually have some winter weather advisories not that far away from here. In fact, across the Long Island Sound in Connecticut, there are winter weather advisories for accumulating snow. It won't be a huge accumulation, but it will be the first one of the season. And then further up north, winter storm warnings. In the interior northeast, they're going to get a lot of snow from this. So let's take a look at the computer models here. And we'll first start with the GFS, of course. You see that high over us. That's going to be supplying the cold air. And here comes the storm system coming up the coast and intensifying. And then, good thing it's a relatively fast mover, so it should be out of here by Friday. But however, the GFS is the rain hanging on a little longer, I noticed. And then fair weather for Saturday, and then another system, weak system perhaps. But after this system, it does not look like there'll be any more major systems, which is good. So I don't see any more major rainstorms. At least, hopefully, this will be the last major storm we have to deal with, because it's been a really wet November. It's absolutely ridiculous. So take a closer look at the GFS here, and you'll see, according to GFS, mostly rain across our area, but heavy rain. It's going to be pouring by late tomorrow afternoon and right in through overnight into Friday morning. And this thing actually has this thing slowing down, intensifying even more because of those warm waters, and keeping the rain right until you'll have to deal with it in the Friday morning rush hour, according to the GFS. Now, let's see what the rainfall amounts are on the GFS. So the rainfall amounts, yeah, we're going to get a lot of rain. GFS gives us 2 inches of rain, and some areas could get isolated amounts of 3 inches of rain. So it's been a very wet November. We're going to have could be one of the wettest Novembers on record at the rate things are going. Of course, they have the opposite problem. Those poor folks in California, of course, with the wildfires and those very dry conditions. Now, let's take a look at the total snowfall according to the GFS. So here we go. Nothing much for Long Island, but you could see, once you head inland, north and west of the city, you start seeing accumulations where it's going to stay snow. So you're going to have accumulations in Connecticut even. Not that far inland in Connecticut, you're going to have an accumulation of 3 to 4 inches. So this is, a very interesting situation. All right. Let's go back and look at let's go to the NAM now, the NAM model. All right. Here's the other model we're looking at. This is the one I usually prefer to use. That's the 0Z run. We don't have that in yet. Let's take a look at the 18Z run. All right, so here comes the system approaching. NAM's a little slow with the onset of the precipitation. Has it starting around 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon. But the NAM, I believe, is more accurate because it has the snow line much closer. I believe we're going to see some snow on Long Island. It's going to start off as light snow and then change over to rain within a couple of hours. Probably not much accumulation, except maybe on the hills of the North Shore you might get a really slushy inch. But you could see heavy rain. Later on in the evening, some really heavy rain over Suffolk County. and just a lot of moisture again for these systems to work with because of those warm waters. Um, and it will be windy too. I mean, not tremendously windy, but it'll be windy to the point where it's going to be really unpleasant to be outside. And then this thing slowly pulls away, but yeah, it lingers the rain into Friday morning. So it looks like it almost has like a secondary low, or the low like kind of develops backwards a little bit. So yeah, the rain is going to linger until Friday morning. So you'll have to deal with it in the Friday morning rush hour, maybe even ending at some snowflakes once again, especially over Connecticut. So very unusually intense and deep system for this time of the year, and kind of unusual. So let's take a look at the total accumulated precip, and then we're going to look at the total snowfall from the NAM. So NAM is pretty much in range again, with around 2 inches of liquid precipitation across most of our area, but then again some isolated areas could get up to 3 inches. But where it really gets interesting is when we go and look at the snowfall total. So let's take a look at that, and you'll see that NAM is a lot more impressive with snowfall totals. It has the North Shore of Long Island getting 6 inches of snow before the changeover, because it's going to come down when it starts. It's going to be very heavy. So yeah, Jersey Shore doesn't get anything, but North Shore of Long Island, you can see right here, up to 6 inches of snow. South Shore, East End, probably just an inch or two of slushy accumulation. Now the NAM we know is a little heavier on the snowfall, but we've seen that dynamic cooling happen before. The air is plenty cold enough, and it could really make for some interesting scene tomorrow afternoon. We're gonna have to keep an eye on it. The roads could get bad if the NAM would have verified, because this is really putting down and accumulating snow. Of course, it does change to rain, so whatever does fall will change to rain. So and be washed away. But before it changes over, it could be pretty heavy. That's something to consider. It really is something to consider. So I'll look at one more model. Let's look at the RGEM. Let's see what the RGEM has here. And it's similar to the NAM. This is going to be one hell of a storm. There's going to be a lot of precipitation with this storm. Definitely 2 inches of liquid equivalent. And wherever it stays snow, there's going to be a lot of snow. And of course, it's going to be a heavy, wet snow, which is going to cause damage. But generally north of the city here, look at this heavy snow. Sussex County, northern Bergen County, Rockland County, northern Westchester, Putnam, Dutchess, into Connecticut. Most of Connecticut is going to get hammered. This could be a record-breaking snow for these areas. Very unusual, but again, it's the energy for the storm is provided by all this warm water that we have. That's what we're seeing. So I'll have another report for you. I'll try to maybe put another one up before the evening tomorrow. If not, I'll have another one up by the evening. But this storm bears watching. If you go out, please just be aware of what's going on, because the potential is there for an accumulating snow, particularly north of the city. For Long Island, I think will be okay, but the North Shore could have some trouble. And unfortunately, I do have to go to the North Shore tomorrow. So lucky me. So maybe we'll get some nice wintry scenes. I just don't want to get stuck up there. So that's going to be it for this weather update. Take care.